Roll dice, be nice, and stay tuned. This is the Live to Die podcast.
The other day at work, I started a new job kind of recently, and so I'm going through the process. Thanks. It's been a nice change. But I'm going through the process of like meeting people, and there's always like get to know you questions. And I'll say that I have a weird relationship with like being on and working on a podcast. Because like I'm a white guy in my 30s, and I feel like everyone's like, oh, of course you have a podcast. So I try not to lead with that. And then on top of that, like I'm in a professional workspace, and then they'll be like, oh, what's it about? And be like, Pathfinder? And they're like, is that D&D? And the answer's going to be like, kind of, but not really. So I was thinking about this the other day because one of my new coworkers asked like, I was in training with a couple of them. So I was getting a chance to like actually hang out a little like in breaks. And they're like, so outside of work, like what kind of stuff do you get up to? And because I'd been like really busy with work that week and it'd been a little funky with training, all I could think was in the last 2 weeks, all I've done is play Pathfinder, record playing Pathfinder, and then edit recordings of me playing Pathfinder. And I was like, I have to come up with I have to think about other things that I do, or I'm just going to sound odd at work. I'm like, there has to be other things I do. So I am curious, like, because people get to know us, they hear us playing Pathfinder. And I know actually many of us play other games together or play games, but what are some of the things you get up to in addition to spending a lot of your weekends recording this podcast with us?
We can't say anything about parents, Jared.
I mean, that's all I do though.
But like, that's fine. Like, what stuff do you do?
Said no.
What do you get up to with your kids? Like, I know from talking to you, outside of recordings, but what kind of stuff do you get up to with your kids?
Lots of sports. I was coaching basketball for a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to do that again or not.
Fair.
I don't know if it brought enough joy to my heart. More than it brought anxiety.
Don't you like parents yelling at you and stuff?
Oh my gosh, it's the
like,
worst.
shin splits, go!
We're entering soccer and baseball season, so
yes,
we've got 2 in soccer and 2 in baseball.
Nice.
I watch a little bit of TV when I can. I game a little bit, like video game a little bit when I can. But mostly it's making sure my little humans survive.
survive the seasons of sports they all play.
Survive whatever they decide to get into.
How was their basketball season though?
They won 2 games out of 8, I think.
Those teams are honestly the most fun to be part of though, because you're like, we have no expectations.
Yeah, and they got a lot better throughout the season. They started as like one of the younger groups.
Oh, nice.
And leveled up, I'd say, but not enough to really compete.
There's a drop for that.
Yeah.
What drop are you thinking?
The patch one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Level up.
The kids leveled up.
Yeah, the kids leveled. See, but like, that's one thing that I always think is interesting is because it's easy. That's not fair. I'm not a parent. I can't speak to it. I have many friends who are parents, and plenty of them will write off like, I do parent stuff, but it's always interesting to me what those different things are. And like, I hang out with you, and you're like, oh yeah, coaching basketball. We've got kids in soccer now. Baseball
For example,
season.
Jason's parenting hobby is to beat his kids mercilessly in boomerang foo.
That's a good one. That's a good
We've
hobby.
like played with them, and I'm like, oh, there is no amount of like, oh, I'm gonna let the kids win kind of.
You've never played
vibes.
boomerang foo?
I have no idea what this is.
Oh, bro.
We should hook this. Actually,
Maybe one of the best games.
Should we just drop this podcast and go outside right now?
Sorry, guys, we're canceling the show.
It's like very fun,
It
and
is fun.
Jason's kids are very good at it. But like when they're playing as a family, Jason's like, you're never gonna get better if I let you win.
Well, do you know what happened? Jared and his nephew came over, and I was like, oh, there's levels to this game, and who plays it, right? So I was like, I'm playing it on hard only now. And so I play Boomerang Foo on hard anytime I have an extra few minutes so that when the kids play, I destroy them.
Yeah.
I mean, you say that, but I've also seen Nolan just like run you down.
He has every once in a while.
He is.
Sometimes.
He's pretty ruthless.
Sometimes he gets on a roll.
For clarification, I don't know the best way to explain this, Trent, but in this game, you are pieces of anthropomorphic food killing each other with boomerangs in a battle royale game.
I understand it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you get to wear hats.
It's fantastic.
And
Oh,
you wear,
and this food can wear hats.
And if you win, you unlock new hats.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's the
I'm
incentive.
partial
like
to
to play
the
it.
pineapple with the stocking cap. That's
I
my
like it.
favorite.
Avocado with the devil horns.
I
Oh,
like
that's
to be
good.
the sushi that when
Avocado.
you get sliced by a boomerang, you turn into 2 rolls of sushi.
Or the boba tea just like flops out and there's
Yeah,
little
just
boba
explode.
floating.
Yeah.
The burger's good too. It's like, lettuce, tomato,
deconstructs.
everywhere.
I usually play the hot sauce. So when you kill it, it just looks like a bloody, like a Tarantino bloody mess on the field of hot sauce.
Boomerang foo, man. We got to play it.
All right. Yeah. I'm
Actually,
down.
we were joking about how we want to record, or not joking, talking about like when we want to record the very final boss fight, like kind of on a standalone, come into it on its own day, full of energy. We're like, what should we do to like warm up and get stoked before the boss
Yeah.
fight? We should play Boomerang.
We should
That-
play
that might be
boomerang
it.
foo.
Every
boss
time I
fight.
have a game night at my house, that's what we play first is Boomerang
Shit.
foo.
Is that going to be our new thing?
It really
Hopefully.
sets the mood.
I like it.
All right. So
Even people that don't like video games liked it. Like Ryan's not a big fan of video games, and he was like, "I'm buying Boomerang foo when I get home."
that's solid. Okay. So we learned a little bit about Jason and what you do with your free time.
I also do like I have the advantage of having a really dope sugar mama,
Sure.
and she's okay with me being a stay-at-home parent. So I get to do whatever I fucking want. So like I made jewelry for a little while. I think I talked about. I've read a bunch of books. I've watched every documentary on murders that exist, like all of them. But I think the thing that I'm like super jacked up about that most people don't know is Formula One. And I think
yes.
maybe you two are aware.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
like I watch practice on Friday morning because I just want to watch them drive around the track.
I assume that's like 4 a.m. or something.
Depends on where it is.
I record it and watch it when I get up.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. But usually it's about 3 to 4 a.m.
Well, didn't they just do was it like demo weekend or whatever? Didn't they just
Testing.
test weekend? That was what, a couple weekends ago.
It was the week before the first race, and yes, I watched testing as well.
Yeah, interesting year for it too.
Mm-hmm.
Trent, Jane, either of you want to talk about the other shit you get up to?
I like to paint.
Oh yeah,
I've gotten back into that this year. I got out of it because of being in actual art school and having to like go to a painting studio. And I was like, this sucks when you have to do it because someone's telling you to. So I didn't do it for a lot of years. And then kind of like in the pandemic, I was like, I need a hobby again and started picking it back up. And now I think it's fun again. So that's always cool. I like rediscovering hobbies that I had. Love to read. And that goes anywhere from like, like last year I was like, I'm going to read The Count of Monte Cristo because I've never read this. And so like 118 chapter book and all of that to like, then what is the like cheesiest YA I can get my hands on?
Right.
So there's a big range there. What's my other hobby? Hanging out with Trent's wife. That's a hobby I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you paint bowls of fruit?
I actually the other day was like, had a papaya and I was like, I'm going to paint this papaya. And then I was like, that's a total artist stereotype.
Yeah.
It's just painting bowls of fruit. I don't really like painting
So did
still
you do
lifes.
it?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
I've been thinking about it. I
You
don't
should
like,
put it in the bathroom.
I don't
papaya?
have like, I don't
The
have
painting.
a thing.
Papaya on a pooper.
Now you have to paint the
All
papaya
right.
going to the
Now
bathroom.
we're not painting a papaya anymore. You guys have killed the idea. Thank you. No, I don't have like one specific thing that I like to paint. I feel like some people are like, I paint landscapes or I paint portraits, and I just kind of go all over the place with it, but it's fun.
Have you seen that YouTube guy that does portraits on the subway?
Oh no.
Oh,
yeah,
my
like,
gosh.
Gives them to the person.
He's
Oh, that's
insane.
cool.
I'll have to show you.
Yeah, he's
Fun.
really good.
Can I answer for Trent?
Yeah.
Politics,
Yes.
news,
Yes.
and political news.
Yes.
And
And Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, and
yes.
That's a good.
That's my
I was like,
entire
we're missing
personality in a
one
nutshell.
big glaring facet of Trent.
He's
Yeah,
like
the
the,
Bengals.
voice of Greeley to me.
I try to be,
Like I
And-
know what's going on here because I follow Trent on
I'd agree
Twitter.
with that on Twitter.
Yeah.
but it's very intentionally the most annoying voice in Greeley possible is what I'm going for. So
You're
got
not
that.
afraid to share your opinion with people who don't agree with you?
Yeah, yeah. And I just like to make them. I like to make entrenched political forces angry at me.
Yeah.
And they're like, look, you don't even know. Like, we've been around for so long. I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm bringing you down, motherfucker.
It's too long.
Yeah.
I actually love Trent is so active on Twitter that there was like a coworker of James's one time when he said like, oh, my friend Trent. And she was like, do you mean at the Trenton Sperry?
Well, yeah.
That one.
That one.
Didn't we?
Also, video games.
Yeah, big video
Big
game
video
person.
game.
Yeah.
Don't we also have a strange obsession with the papacy and the Pope and like stories and knowledge of?
Yeah, so I read a lot of like really dry history as well. Literally like as far back as I can get, books written in the 1600s about the histories of regions before them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't really like trust it, but you put them in a good headspace.
Yeah.
Like this is what they were thinking was their history sort of thing.
Interesting.
I will say on the Bengals note, I think like a solid third of our year, we schedule our recordings for the most part around the Bengals play schedule.
Yeah, look, if we're playing a division team at home, like it's
That's not happening.
not happening.
Like there's even some weekends in which like we'll plan with like friends up here in Colorado, and there's whole friend groups that are like, what's going on with the Bengals this weekend that will affect this friend group's ability to hang out and Trent's
You know what
availability.
actually also really amuses me about this is that you have never lived in Cincinnati.
I have no
You've
ties
never-
to the state of Ohio whatsoever.
Yeah.
I've never
Oh,
lived in
really?
Minnesota.
But you know
I've
what?
been there once,
You choose your team and you stick by it.
and I know Ray.
Oh,
Oh,
Frost.
from
Ray.
Frost?
Right.
I
Good
also
friends.
know Ray from Frost.
He's a good Vikings fan.
Oh, the other thing that is a hobby of mine that I'm very excited about that's about to become more of a thing in a couple of months.
Rolling well.
Okay.
Couldn't resist.
Stop. If you hit this button, I will break your finger. No, watching women's soccer. And
nice.
this is one of the things that I feel like I have been able to convert James into as well over the
Yeah.
years, that like he is now also a big women's soccer watcher.
Don't
Is the
sleep on
World Cup?
women's hockey either.
Oh, okay.
Is
Yeah,
World Cup
women's
coming up?
hockey is legit.
Is it his World Cup coming up?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
nice.
in Australia and New Zealand this summer.
Nice.
It's going to be really fun.
Down
I love the
under.
World Cup.
Wallaby.
Men's and women's.
Hugh Jackman.
They're both great.
That's how we got.
Only I like the women's more because the U.S. is better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one
Yeah.
nice thing. Like the World Cup, you're like, oh, it's super cool to watch sports around the world. I'll cheer for some other country.
Yeah.
Until the women's national,
Yeah.
the women's World Cup comes up, and you're like, USA.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's how we got
Exactly.
Teddy Golzevelt from their most recent run. An amazing moment. You just have to go back and look.
They're also just like so stacked. Like they've been so good for so long that it's
Yeah.
very fun to root for them.
And it's fun to be in Colorado and a fan of the U.S. Women's National Team because like a whole chunk of the U.S. Women's National Team are from Colorado. It's a fun state to be cheering on the team from.
Yeah. And I mean, like back to your point, Jared, I grew up playing soccer. My dad was my coach for like 15
Yeah,
years. So it's super fun to have your parent be involved that way.
And we should note that like when Jane says like, oh, I'm so really into that, like her and her dad will schedule whole like parent-child days to go watch soccer games
Nice.
together.
That's cool.
It's super cool.
That is cool.
Sometimes I get invited, sometimes not.
Sometimes
it's very
we're like,
fun.
you asked too many questions for this one. We're taking this very seriously.
So yeah, thanks you all for sharing a little bit. I did end up like finally telling the coworker, I was like, I run a lot. I guess at this point, exercise is a hobby because I feel like if I do it as much as I do and it's not a hobby, then it's just really depressing.
Fair.
Oh,
Yeah, like, you know, I listen to podcasts, I listen to audiobooks, I
Board
exercise.
games?
Yeah, I do. I play a lot of board games. And I've gotten back into building miniatures while I edit the podcast because I needed something to do with my hands while I
That's fair.
listened to stuff. So yeah, lots of fun shit. Well, thanks you all for getting to learn a little bit about each other. I think it's time now that we learn a little bit more about the ritual going on in this room that you disrupted. So you're standing in the room. There are 3 dead bodies, lots of dead bodies. You first took out what I let slip was the Worm Prophet, but also like it was a divine spellcaster that was a Grey Gardener, 2 and 2. And then there was a couple of their like director generals, some of the higher ups that were defending them. And when you first came into the room, actually, you saw this man in a smoking jacket robe who was sort of lording over these other 2 Grey Gardeners that were crouched near a brazier in the room, glowing with a blue fire that even when water hit it, the fire didn't go out. There was a sharp scent coming from it that even all this incense burning in the room didn't quite cover from this burning brazier. what are y'all gonna do now? Standing in a gore-soaked room.
Ew.
Drosharis is going to start investigating the ritual. That's the word I'm looking for. Ritual that they were involved in, using a cult. Trying to figure out what we did, what we interrupted, what they have already done.
What's your occult bonus? This is going to be a secret check for sure.
26.
Can we aid?
Yeah. Go ahead. I'll let any of the aid checks be public. Because it's around magic, I'll allow you can aid for this. Or tell me what you want to aid with. Talk to me.
I'm looking.
Yeah, I can aid too. Can I aid with Arcana?
Yeah, I'll allow it. The DC is going to be a little higher.
Okay.
But I like to imagine that traditions still have, especially through ritual magic, some interactions of principles, even if there's some fundamental differences.
How about with nature?
Same thing. I'm going to increase the DC for the aid.
Would religion make it lower?
I think religion would be closer.
What's your religion?
I'm going to do religion.
I have a high religion, but I'm actually going to do something else.
Oh,
okay.
My bad. Thought you were part of the team.
Fight me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were on board.
I'm actually going to go leave and start my own side adventure. Bye, guys.
Wait, I haven't killed her yet. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Is he?
I got a 27 to aid.
Okay, that's going to be a success, not a crit
Just
success.
a +1.
Yep.
This would be a 48 with nature.
Jesus, fuck. Okay, that is going to be a crit success. What's your training?
Legendary.
Oh, it's a secret. That's
expert. How much is that on a crit? Does someone have the aid
I think
thing
it's
looked up?
+4.
Okay, it's +4. I'm cool with that.
That makes sense to me.
So you'll get 8 + 4 because they're both the same type. They don't stack. So multiple. The way I've always played it is multiple people aiding just gives you basically a better chance to get the highest result. So you'll get a +4 on your. Well, I'll make it for you. A secret
so
check.
+30.
+30 total while you work on this.
No help from Jane.
No help from me.
I'm gonna say this is like a 10-minute sort of investigation.
Okay.
You're looking through it. You're taking notes. And what you're able to piece together, Drosharis, is you're seeing essentially sort of you're not able to pick out the exact details, right? You realize that what you're seeing is a part of a whole. You suspect that there are this is sort of like a secondary ritual supporting a primary one. You do not know how many, but you suspect there are other secondaries as well. And what this seems to be doing is channeling energy towards another ritual. So you do not know what the primary ritual does. This ritual seems to be juicing up or improving another one. You specifically expect that this one would be increasing like the timeline, because rituals can take a lot of time and a lot of intricacies. And so this almost works a little bit like multiple cores in a computer processor, or like decentralized work across like a larger network. And so some amount of the work has been offloaded into this. The nature of that work is still mostly held by the primary, but some of the work, the magical work, is being tasked over to this secondary ritual.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Yeah.
Can I tell if there are more rituals being done here in Galt, or if they're done like where the other places that this was supposed to happen? Because I know we shut down a network.
Sure. So now bringing that up, that's a good point. So I think what Drosharis you'd be able to piece together is that there's a ritual taking place here that is, this ritual is connected to something close-ish. If there were, this ritual on its own doesn't seem like it would be powerful enough, or it doesn't seem specific enough to trigger another Gray Death out of a Final Blade. There might be rituals going on in other parts of Galt doing this. This one seems to be aiding another ritual. Now, the primary ritual, it could be about a Final Blade. It could be about the whole network. It could be an entirely different thing. So in this case, all you know is that the ritual that this is powering or this is assisting, you'd guess would have to be within at most a mile, probably far less, without there being like a separate sort of magical conduit of some way to connect it.
And then the next question I had was, can I tell how long this ritual took?
You think this has been going on, so this is This is the day after the party, right?
Yes.
So this is probably about, at this point, 15 hours after the party, give or take, maybe 12 or 13, because you want to get some sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And then you geared a little, waited for Kenzen, and went in. You think this ritual has been going probably since last night, like basically since within an hour or two of you dismantling the party the night before. You don't know how long it would go on or not go on. Your guess on this, let's do, give me a public check. Give me a specific, this is an occult, like you're trying to do occultist science. This much power in to figure out X. And this is just all mental thought.
40.
Okay.
Nice.
You feel like, and this is what's a little bit unsure for you, you don't know how many others there are. And so you imagine that each sort of satellite ritual will decrease the time to completion of the primary ritual, the parent ritual. And you'd suspect that it would be like a fair division. So if there is if there's 4 of these, it would reduce it by a fourth. If there's 2 of these, you've taken away sort of half of it on top of the main one. So that's kind of your thought. You think that's where there's a big unknown, but you know you've taken out a proportional chunk of progress towards completing something.
Is this the room where there was that weird flame?
Yep, the blue flame.
Is that the blue flame is part of the ritual? I'm assuming?
Is.
Okay.
And you kind of put it out.
Yeah.
But you're of course investigating for sure. It just isn't put out naturally when the water hit it. It would just take sort of disarming
is
it.
Eloquently and intelligently explaining this to you as he learns it.
Oh, fascinating.
And then okay.
So you said that's taking them about 10 minutes to do all of that? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I want to do...
Where the fuck is Val?
I want to do 2 things. And
she's off playing Troubles in Otari.
You can tell me which order they should happen in within the 10 minutes. But for one thing, I want to use That's Odd to automatically notice one non-obvious thing because we're in this new space. And then the other thing I'm going to do is reconstruct the scene, which takes 1 minute and allows me to kind of like gain the impression of what's been going on in here over the last like 24 hours.
So something that you probably wouldn't have immediately noticed is that despite being trampled on by Watson,
I'm sorry.
The bed in here and like some of the tapestries on the wall are wildly fucking expensive. You think the just material cost of things in this room is well over either at or above 5,000 gold.
Our heist.
Wow.
Hi.
And you do catch, and this is a small thing, you do see an odd-looking tome right next to the Divian, sort of between the Divian and the wall, where maybe someone was reading it and potentially dropped it.
Okay.
So that stands out to you as something non-obvious. Then reconstructing the scene, you're able to piece together that the 2 Grey Gardeners were taking turns maintaining, and it really makes sense with what Drosharis is talking about with the way the ritual, sort of like maintaining a careful burning of the fire and a careful like recitation of ritual elements. So you say that they were working around this fire, occasionally getting instruction from the Worm Prophet and interactions there back and forth. So they were just tending and maintaining this ritual for the last
So
bit.
Ostensibly putting that fire out has helped with disabling this ritual.
Yeah, the ritual has been slowed. And I'll say, Drosharis, you suspect it's at least a day or 2 that the ritual has been slowed down by this.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Light bulb.
So Val is going to
sorry.
go over and investigate this book also.
Okay. So you pick this book up. It's it's a thick and weighty tome. It's
I like
bound
my tomes.
It's bound and covered in ornate silver and beaten copper with arrays of semi-precious stones set across it.
Okay, can I open it?
What hand do you use to open it?
Jesus.
Do you read it with both eyes?
Yeah, did you close one eye? And which eye do you close before you read it? No, you can go ahead and open it. It's not locked in any way. And as you open it, it appears to have completely blank and pristine vellum pages.
Interesting. So she would probably call over Watson and be like, can you take a look at this? It seems as though there might be something more than meets the eye.
Oh no, those pages are blank.
Do your magic
Says
thing,
this
would
page
you
was
please?
left blank intentionally.
It doesn't. They were unintentionally blank.
We have to use a hairdryer to heat it up See
lemon juice.
lemon juice.
Perhaps I can arcana this and see what I
Yeah, you've
find.
got. Do you have like detect magic, read aura, and all those?
Yeah, detect magic
cantrips?
for sure.
I'm sure someone has a read aura.
Can I intimidate the pages to tell me what they say?
You can intimidate it. I don't know if it'll help anything, but you're welcome to glare at them.
what you say.
I have read aura.
Nice.
Perfect. So the two of you work together. Give me an Arcana check. Actually, this will be behind the screen. What's your Arcana bonus,
Can I
Jared?
aid them?
Yeah,
with
I'm
some
an
shit?
aid.
Yeah,
I'll aid them.
Because you have read aura. I want you to take lead on this, Jared.
Okay.
And then aid with your a skill associated with a magic tradition. So occult, nature,
30.
religion.
I got a 36.
Okay, so you're rocking a crit aid right now.
Okay.
Did you crit aid, Trent?
49.
Okay, so +4 is what you're going to want to take from the legendary druid.
Plus
So
4.
what's the total bonus here?
37 aid for me.
Nice.
Pretty
I
well.
Yeah.
would have rolled, and it was arcana.
Yeah, what's your bonus? With an extra +4, and then I'll roll it.
Sorry.
You're all good. So all of you are crowding in around this book.
So total is a plus 27.
Okay. You realize that there is some magical essence in this book, and as you're kind of looking at it, it has some divination ties. You're able to piece together that you'll need to spend, and this is not an uncommon item, it's a common item, it's a magical one. It's something called a possibility tome. And I suspect that either both through looking at it and picking apart what you see in the auras, and also just through traveling the world, maybe you've heard of them before. Possibility tome is a level 18 divination item. It's worth about 22,000 gold.
Wow.
If you activate the book before opening it, it changes. It takes 10 minutes for you to envision and interact with the book. And then as you flip through the book, you think about a broad topic about which you want to know more. Choose one skill: arcana, crafting, medicine, nature, occultism, religion, society, or a single subcategory of lore. The book's pages fill with information about that skill, though only you can see the information. While the pages are full, you can spend an interact action perusing the book just before attempting a recall knowledge check with the chosen skill. Gives you a +3 item bonus to the check. And if you roll a critical failure, you only get a failure instead. The information in the book disappears after 24 hours or when the tome is activated again.
That's really cool.
That's
That
cool.
is cool.
It's medieval
pretty neat.
Wikipedia.
So can we do that with occultism? Whoever has the highest to try to figure out more about this ritual?
Zadro.
26 plus 26.
That's much higher than what I have.
I'm not untrained. So.
I have a +27.
Oh, snap.
Oh,
You certainly can. It'd take another 10, 20 minutes
Another
in
10
here.
minutes.
We should
We'll think about that.
get the fuck out of here.
Before we do that, I also want to just thoroughly check the desk and the bodies of these people.
Yeah.
Also burn the room.
whoa,
It's stone.
No, wait a minute. This bed looks super comfy.
It is very expensive.
If I don't get the jacket, you don't get the bed.
Come feel this comforter. I mean, it is divine.
Dro feels it. And
No,
he's
no,
like,
duvet.
God damn it, this is nice. This guy really
Put it in the bag.
knew what's up.
I'm thinking, so hear me out. My spells are completely depleted. Not completely, but basically. I'm going to need something like 8 hours of rest to accommodate being in fighting form for any upcoming situations.
Well, mechanically, I believe we have time now.
Well, wouldn't it be nice if I could just sleep in this bed?
Make sure you take into account daylight saving.
So you're only going to get 7 hours.
Sorry, you don't get your spells.
You should have gone to bed 2 hours ago.
Okay, good night.
I'm all right with resting because it'll give us some time to work with this book.
We don't want to rush
Joe
together.
Sharos looks around and he's like, definitely have to take watches with more than just one person.
Yes.
So
16 hours of
We're
Who's
staying
sleeping with
down
who?
here. Why would we stay down here?
because
I got a room at the
Back
Stalwart.
to the Stalwart Patriot.
Patriot.
these sheets are really nice.
I don't want to have to try to fight our way back in here again.
I agree.
That's fair.
I think we can manage to stay down here. I'm not afraid of that wussy GM on the other end of the table.
It's the most threatening drop I have.
I say we vote.
Ooh.
Who's sleeping here?
Val raises her hand.
Joe raises.
I would like to.
All right, I guess I'm in.
Right.
So
Good
There's
night.
3 in the bed, and the druid said, roll
Is there
over.
any, like, I want to step out into some of the other rooms that are adjacent. Are there
Yeah.
more beds?
No.
Okay.
Well, you found some
Or
bed rolls. You
I'll
found
bring
some
those
bed rolls.
in here so we don't necessarily have to spoon each other.
Okay.
I think I
Val will
have a
take-
bedroll.
Val will
Oh, yeah,
stay
me
up
too.
with whoever is in the first like duo because she does want to, thoroughly check everything in this room, get all the possible information, and also like mess with this book.
So what I will say is if 2 of you are keeping watch at a time, that will take 16 hours for you to fully rest in this creepy, terrifying... Because keep in mind, when you are down here, remember, there's that like mental oppression
Mm-hmm.
That's
where
true.
it's harder to remember things. You can feel it pushing down on your thoughts and feelings at all times. Sleeping here will be unpleasant. Mechanically, it will be fine, but it will be very unpleasant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think we still just do it.
Okay,
That's-
16 hours.
I
don't
feel like
know.
you're telling
Now
us
that
to
you
not
say
do
that,
that.
I feel like that's a long time.
It is, but that's not intrinsically a bad thing.
We have an extra 2 days, we believe now.
That's true.
It's a lot of time.
All right.
Well, we know that there are
Shut
3.
up, GM. Don't look at us. We're discussing.
So he said that there are like that this would proportionally reduce, like the amount of time it would take to complete the ritual. The Banshee told us there are 3 worm prophets, so we know we've taken it down by 1/3.
Mm.
So ostensibly we would have like at least 24 hours.
Mhm. So
An
we have time to
additional
do
24.
it plus a full 8 hours.
Quick pause, not literal pause, just I didn't mention how many there were. That's an awesome little note from the investigator.
Thank
Hero
you.
patch.
Nice job.
There's another patch stuck to the back of this patch, and I'm keeping both.
That
It's
sounds
2
good.
batches.
I think it's just a backing.
Nope.
Damn it.
It's 2 patches.
Oh shit.
I don't know if it was.
Jason said it's 2 patches. Yeah, I don't know. I think we do it, and because I just think that there's a lot of information that we can get by like staying awake. But if we want to do like more of like a rotating watch and keep it to 8 hours, we don't have to have 2 people awake.
Even with the rotating watch, it won't be as short as 8 hours, but it'll be fewer than 16.
Let's just do that.
There is a table somewhere in one of the books that says how long it takes for a full party to rest, taking evenly divided watches among party members. It's the most
actually-
Pathfinder thing ever. I'll just go ahead and share a little bit with all of you. When we talk about like the pressure in the head, recall knowledge checks are all more difficult by 2 while down
Oh,
here, just because it's hard to
interesting.
think.
That's why you've been missing them, Jane.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what
because
it
of-
is.
Not
James.
because the GM, not because secret roles.
No.
There's just a number of things that Val wants to take time to study and think about. So like I'll just let you know if there's any way like during the watch I can roll something on these, but I want to mess with the book. I want to thoroughly check this room, and I want to try to like investigate a little bit about whatever's going on with the shadows down here. Because I'm not loving that it keeps coming up that it's like, oh, the shadows don't make sense and stuff like that.
Then
So,
I'm going to stay up with you because I want to help you.
okay.
I was going to say,
Well, you have 8
With the
hours.
occult.
Good night.
Yeah. And the fighters shouldn't be awake at the same time.
No.
Yeah.
So
Probably not.
Imagine that it is a very tense situation when it's just Val and Dro. Like,
we've
Yeah.
had some great adventures.
Yeah.
We got Watson out of jail.
that's true.
All right, so who's taking... It will be, so you're taking 16 hours, that's fine. Who's going to take first watch?
Alendro.
Yeah, Val and Dro.
All right, so Fox and Watson get a little bit of sleep.
Do you want to be big spoon or little spoon?
Always big.
Okay.
I think it would be hilarious to have Watson be the big
I think
spoon.
it would be equally.
Whatever he's comfortable with.
I imagine you're the big spoon, but you're also using a wing. So it's like a blanket.
That
Oh,
is so,
so-
comfy.
Very sweet.
So
Batwing.
And like we're doing all this intense like investigation and studying, and then we at one point we look over and we're like, oh, look at them. It's adorable.
So,
Fox hasn't cuddled me like that in a long time.
oh.
Oh.
So what
We can never
is
take the same watch.
It's true.
what are you getting up to during watch? Are you focusing all of your attention on watching, Are you working on
No.
something else and just being awake in case something happens?
I would say that Val is just awake in case something happens and focusing pretty intently on the things I listed as like stuff she wants to, because she's an investigator at heart. You know, she wants to like find out information. And I feel like we don't actually know everything we need to know right now.
Sure.
And I'll be the yin to that yang and be more focused on watching. And when she's like, hey, can you help?
You're like, oh, yes, you said blue. I remember the color blue.
Remember blue?
So because I'm just going to do some hand waving here, because you are taking a long rest and essentially saying time, while in terms of days is a factor, you're not counting hours as hard. Trent, with your checks to roll, healing the entire party up, plus a full night's rest, everyone's at full health.
Sure.
Also, in case anyone ever wants to, it's page 500, table 10.3, watches and rest.
Ah.
Yeah. So if you have a... oh, shit. Jane cuts the blood drops.
I can do it too.
So if you're splitting into a group size of 2, 16 hours, if you take individual watches, it takes the group collectively 10 hours and 40 minutes to get rest, with each duration of watch being 2 hours and 40 minutes. Because Paizo
I see.
separated that all out for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot more efficient if you have 6 party members. Then it only takes 9 hours and 36 minutes to get a
But
full
then your
rest.
table play is
Your
terrible.
tables are huge.
Then it takes you 24 hours to play one combat.
Right. Yeah. Facts.
You forget how to play your character by the time it gets back to your turn.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That happens to me now when we have 4 people.
I know.
let's kind of cut to Drosharis and Val. You're working in the room. You've got torches in there, and you said you're kind of trying to investigate Jane.
Well, I think first things first, going through the desk and the bodies, is there any more like pertinent information that I can find?
Nothing in the desk. A lot of billing stuff that you're not able to connect immediately to anything else.
They're terrible at managing their finances around here.
The gardeners have the sort of same stuff you've seen on them before.
He spent 10,000 gold on that jacket.
I was gonna say he blew the budget on the bed sheets.
What a steal.
This worm prophet was toting they're easy enough you can identify them, a +1 resilient chain shirt, which is pretty below the curve for all of you. His veil was pretty nice. Not magical, just well made. It stinks now though. And then a +2 greater striking dagger, but that's sort of well below the curve for all of you on runes as well.
It's better than the dagger I have.
Oh, that's cool. So you can pick that up.
Okay, so no like further information about this ritual or anything like that, just laying around.
Correct.
Okay. I would like to try to look into whatever's going on with the shadows
Mhm.
and the light. Is that like maybe a occultism, a religion?
Maybe. So how do you think,
recall knowledge, I guess.
what would Val be doing? Like, how would you do that?
Actually, I think that Val would be like, because you said that there are like torches around and we've been noticing that the shadows don't really make sense. Okay, so what Val wants to do is pursue 2 leads.
Okay.
And she's going to pursue one lead being the shadows and one lead being the like mental oppression and kind of like feeling of being
Sure.
in here. And then she's going to use her ability called Connect the Dots, which allows me to consider both of my leads, and I can, based on like whatever relevant skill the GM determines would have to do with both of these things, I can see like if they are connected. Yeah, and
Okay.
you'll have to tell me if they're connected.
Sort of paint like the narrative for me. Like, what's Val doing? How is this going on while Dro's keeping watch?
Yeah, I think Val is trying to take all the information. You know, she's kind of just walking around looking at things, and she's trying to think about like the kind of mental connection that she's having to this place. And, you know, she's all about knowledge. So the fact that it's harder for her to draw these like bits of knowledge to her brain, she's trying to like concentrate really hard on that. And then also going up to these torches and like looking at them mechanically. How are they working? Like, trying to distill like what is the difference between the shadows and the way the flames are moving, and kind of going back through her mind of what she's experienced that she knows might be causing it.
Okay. And Drosharis, what are you doing during this watch?
Josharis is, for the most part, listening, watching. Kind of has the door cracked a little bit so that you can kind of see if something happens or comes up. For the things that he would help Val with, he's interested in the shadows as well. He notices that they're moving, and that's not kind of normal. So if you were going to do some type of check on that, but he's, for the most part, he's paying attention. He pulled out his little warfare journal to figure out maybe what he's going to prepare for the next day to go into the fight with, and just make sure nobody dies.
It sounds like the two of you don't talk a lot. I'm not hearing that you two of you are interacting very much
I think
socially.
at the point that she's looking, like, I think not like socially or chatty or anything at all, but like at the point that she's looking at the shadows, she would kind of be like, Drosharis, have you noticed that there is some sort of strangeness with the way the shadows move in this place?
It does appear as though they're not stationary. And doesn't appear that anything is causing them to move. There's no dancing lights or...
I don't like that compared with how the Sack Hills move in and out of this plane.
Could also be some type of shadow creature walking in and out of the walls.
I feel like there might be something here that's going to affect us, and I don't know what it is yet.
I've been really depressed since we've been down here.
You should talk to someone about that.
Therapy is for weak people.
Such
This
a
is
boomer.
Droshars. Have 2 therapists, everybody, to support therapy.
Val, like, under her breath is like, that's so sad. Anyway,
That's sort of my shtick. I don't have friends.
she's like,
And
makes a
brood.
note, tell Watson to talk to Drosharis.
Licensed therapist,
yeah.
Watson Himmelgate.
In another game, Jared's my therapist.
That's true.
So I think, and she'll say like, have you noticed this mental pressure? You know, they're kind of like
Sure.
discussing this situation that she's wondering, are these two things kind of connected or coming from some sort of same force, and wants to do what she does best, which is try to connect the dots on these things.
So I'm almost imagining like a little bit of a, not to put anyone into roles, but sort of the way you get the Holmes and Watson dynamic of talking a problem out, investigating it. So the two of you kind of exploring
Watson's
it.
asleep.
Burberry.
Oh,
Burberry,
no.
no.
Oh God, not
I'm
again.
sorry, Burberry.
I told you it's depressing down here.
So you compared the two. Those two factors are not related.
Okay. And then thinking over, she's like, they've got to be something different. Can I just roll? I mean, I feel like we've already done this. Like, try to roll on the shadows.
Okay.
Because this is where I would aid. This would be the mechanical thing that I do here.
Give me religion. What is your religion
Oh.
bonus, and which one of you wants to aid?
My religion
I'll aid
is.
because I don't have religion very.
Are you trained even?
No.
right.
I am, and
So-
my religion bonus is. I'm a master. I'm
So
25.
I'll roll it.
Oh, okay.
Jason, you can try to aid, but if you fail it, you'll give a penalty.
I'm not gonna fuck it up.
All right, what's that bonus, Jane?
25.
Remember, it's a little harder because
How
of
do
the
you
mental
fail it? What's the
impression.
number to fail it?
I'm going to set this at a 20.
Can you use the tome?
DC 20.
Here's a tome thingy, man.
You can use the tome if you want. Here.
Okay. Yeah. So
They should use.
Watson's like, no, well, because yeah,
Use the tome.
that's the thing, and that's kind of why I said that. Of like, those are all the things that Val is doing,
Yeah.
and so she would do them in whatever order makes the most sense, you know. And like using the tome was kind of on her to-do list
that's
for this
totally
rest. So I could start with the tome.
It's a cool tome thingy.
The tome, there's no check. You use it, and you get a +3 on recall knowledge.
Okay, excellent. So she's going to do that.
So you're normally a +25.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you're working on this, and you're not able to pick exactly what it is. You don't know if it's a creature, if it's the place itself. But you work on it for a bit, and you have like a pounding headache.
So the tome is like just full of information about religion now.
Yes.
So is there anything else useful to me in there?
It's up to you. I mean, you're reading through it. There's just tons of stuff on religion. You can make another check on religion, or you can spend 10 minutes to change the subject of the book to something else.
Yeah, I am going to spend 10 minutes to change the subject of the book to occultism
Mm-hmm.
and see like, and then roll on.
Oh, I recognize some of this.
You can't see it. Only I can see it.
That's true. Yeah. Only the person who's reading it.
Yeah.
Never mind.
But I'm going to change it to occultism. But I mean, if it only takes us 10 minutes and we can do it however much we want,
Yeah.
I'm going to change it to occultism and then try to roll on the ritual.
Okay. What's your occultism bonus?
27.
Sure.
So 30 with the tome.
Yep. And which then -2 because of the mental oppression.
28.
Yep. So you don't pick up anything that Drosharis didn't already. You find a lot of things that corroborate what Drosharis shared, and that seems consistent, but you don't pick up anything new with that.
Can I also then with this tome of occultism roll on the worm?
Yeah, you can. Okay. So that pops off. Nothing new on the worm. You do feel pretty confident that given that these people were divine casters. So you think one additional thing. You think the worm's presence. So we talked about how it's an aberration, like something alien, something outside of this planet, or outside of this reality even. The presence and strength of the worm, you do think is what that divine caster, the worm prophet, was drawing its spells from.
So,
does anyone...
I think Valentine would just say, like, gathering that information, be like, well, the bad news is that there's 2 more of these worm prophets. The good news is they're not really going to be a problem if we kill the worm first. And she'll hand the book to Drosharis and be like, have at it if you want to use this for anything.
Okay.
Does anyone in here feel like a lot of Pathfinder background, know what it takes for a divine spellcaster to get spells from something?
Like mechanically?
Narratively.
Sacrifice?
Not specifically. I just know.
Can they pray to anything?
A god? Oh, the worm's a god.
Yeah.
All right, so you finish your 8-hour rest.
Well, hang on, I'm not done.
Oh, okay.
So towards the end of the rest and after you hand me the book, Drosharis is sitting there and he's like, Val, what brought you here on this mission?
And she'd be like, why do you want to know?
Well, I believe I have something to tell you.
Well, I came here to kill some Grey Gardeners, and I came here because Camilla Dronach tricked me into thinking she was someone that she's not, and I went along with this mission because I was concerned that there was some information about me and my upbringing, which I'm sure it's pointless to tell you now was as a Red Mantis assassin. And I wanted to make sure that information was removed. And if you're going to ask me why I'm still here, I don't really know. I'm getting talked to by gods, and it's all really fucked up at this point.
I believe I feel the same way, and that's why I feel like I have to tell you that you're the reason I'm here.
Val draws her gun.
Joe puts his hands up and he's like,
What do you mean?
I was sent here to take you out.
She's gonna like cock an eyebrow.
I'm part of an organization and I was given a mission.
What kind of organization?
I'll tell you about it another day. But
Click, click.
I assure you, you do not want to do that.
What do you mean?
I don't know why they wanted to kill you.
I have a few guesses.
And I have tried to relay to them that you are not the target. That there is something here that's much worse.
Why should I believe you?
I chose to tell you this. I could have just killed you.
Sense motive on Drosharis?
Okay, that's going to be a secret check with your perception bonus.
Okay, hold on. I think I also have something for this. I get a +2 bonus to people trying to lie to me because I am such a good liar.
Okay, so give me your perception +2.
My
That's called
perception.
lie to me, in fact.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
29.
All right. Okay. Drosharis, what's your deception DC?
That'd be +10, right?
Yep.
To 34.
Okay. And Jane, what's your bonus?
29.
You don't feel like Drosharis is keeping anything back from you, but you're not sure. Well, it's a secret check. You feel confident that he's not lying to you, but the question is, do you, Jane, think I'm James and lying to you?
Always.
That's a good basis
Playing
for a
this
marriage.
game all the time.
Drosharis is kind of sits there for a second, can see that you're like conflicted, and I'll make you a deal. As you can tell from our last fight, I've moved to start to try to protect you. I don't believe that you are the enemy here. I believe that I am being taken advantage of. When we leave, I need your help to correct this mistake.
Well, if you're asking me to go along with you to kill the people trying to kill me, then count me in.
Fair enough.
But if you try anything while we're here, I'll make sure that even if you do kill me, Watson resurrects me, and I come and make your life as miserable as possible.
Yes, I will take a sugar plum.
I want you to know that if I kill you, I kill Watson too.
And then Val, I think, would...
But I would never.
Like you see her like about to shoot you when you say that you would kill Watson.
Dro starts taking his sword off his back and like de-arming himself like his night's rest is about to start. And like just turns away from you, pointing a gun at him.
I love that like possibly Fox or Watson like wakes up a little bit and just sees like Val pointing a gun at Dro and like they're like, oh God, not again. So Val is going to like just slowly lower the gun and seriously consider killing Drosharis in his sleep.
All right.
As soon as you put it in your holster, he's like, bah! Just kidding.
So it's about
She
8 hours.
stabs
Does
you.
someone wake up Fox or Watson for their watch? Watson or Fox, do you think you'd wake up automatically in time for your watch?
Probably wait for a cue.
I would, after you point the gun at me and I turn away, I'm like, hey, it's time to switch
Watson would definitely automatically wake up, just being super old, you know, just like, oh, all right, it's about that time, okay.
Also, a quick unplanned hero
Nice.
patch for the two
Yay.
of you
Nice.
for that nice little improv scene.
I can't read that. Oh.
All right. Oh, yeah, Jason, I think that's...
COVID Tech Vor
it's from
campaign 2020.
a bunch of people who play Infinity, one of the tabletop
nice.
games. I guess that's one of my hobbies, is playing a competitive miniatures game. There was a bunch of tournaments that were canceled during COVID, and a few people did a charity fundraiser. One of the missions you can run that's famously difficult in Infinity is Biotech Vor. So they made COVID Tech
COVID
Vor,
Tech
and
Vor.
the proceeds from those patches went
That's
to
funny.
a couple of charities that were helping during COVID.
Is that a vest?
That's an alien head wearing an
Wearing a mask.
N95 mask.
Okay. Yeah, I see the N95 mask. Now I see an alien
Yeah.
head.
It was a fun one. So
That's cool.
Fox, Watson, you come to as Drosharis wakes you up.
Oh, I bet their watch went perfectly well,
Hey,
and they
everything's
didn't
good.
have
Yeah,
any
nothing
argument
suspicious at all.
whatsoever.
Dro's just smiling with a thumbs up when you get up.
Oh, hello.
I know what that means.
Good night, you two. Sleep well.
Well,
Dro
Dro
is
was
not going to sleep in the bed with
obviously
you.
sleeping on the floor.
Dro gets into the bedroll on his own.
Yeah. Val is going to like be like, Watson.
Hello.
She stops for a second. She's like, have a good watch. And like gets in
Okay.
bed.
Doo-dee-doo.
Are you wearing medium or heavy armor, Fox?
Medium.
So it takes you about a minute or so you get armored back up.
Yep.
You're wearing medium or heavy, Jason?
Medium, so I'm taking that off.
Okay, so your armor comes off.
I'll help you out.
Yes. Undress me, please.
Oh.
As when you never mind. That's an offline Kingmaker conversation with Trent.
Oh, God.
Are you taking that feat to help people take their armor on and off?
Yes.
Nice.
I love it. I love it.
All right, Fox, Watson, two of you. Are you doing anything in a particular note during the watch?
Watson is sitting and conversing with the spirits of nature.
No, there's some new ones around because a lot of them died in the last
Right,
day.
right.
This deep underground. What are you talking with them? What are you talking with them about?
So it's always specifically matters related to their nature.
Of course.
So I think he would ask, having just gone through it, he's like, I'm not sure I've ever asked when you sleep, what do you dream of?
And I think the ones down here share about disruption of sleep. They share about the nightmares that come with this psychic presence underground. And some of them reference some of the other spirits that have been here much longer that said it wasn't always like that.
Oh, that's terrible. You poor little fellas.
I'm not going to do animal voices in my
How
mind.
dare you consider killing this sweet, sweet old dwarf?
That's why I said he would never.
I was able to rest peacefully knowing I'll live forever.
But he understands that if he kills you, he's going to have to kill him too.
I just bought a boat.
You're going to retire.
That's an old person shit right there. Not a boat.
Oh my God, I almost choked.
So I think in talking with some of the spirits they sort of shared that this pressure, this force, started about 50 years ago.
Oh.
A little more, a little less. People ever piece it together, they'll talk about like seasons and winters more than they will like, well, the Absalonian calendar back in 4th, but about 50 years ago, give or take, is when they said that this presence kind of came and started changing the feel of the space here.
Very straight.
But they do talk about how there are some that are much, much older. And in your time down here, they share that it was a place like their dreams used to bring them inspiration. They felt like they learned more. And you'll even notice that like the creatures down here seem to be like their conceptual sense of self is much broader than many other of the spirits you interact with. So relating to their nature, like their nature is erudite is too strong of a word, but there's a lot more self-reflection and a lot more thought about the nature of themselves or what's around them from some of the spirits who've been here much longer. And they talk about how this used to be a place where people would come and spend ages. You'd be able to piece together maybe researching or talking or learning is what you're able to piece across from these, a lot of like moles or subterranean animals, sort of, that's what you're able to infer from what their interpretation of their experience here was. But they do seem not more intelligent, but like to understand a little bit more about your perception of the world than many other spirits would. The older ones do.
Fox, I believe this place used to be a center of learning almost.
Who told you that?
Timmy. The spirit, one of the spirits of this place.
Interesting.
Good guy, that Timmy.
Sabertooth spirit.
We could tell it was
Sabertooth Timmy.
Old Timmy. Do-do-do.
Watson.
Huh?
If we die here, what do you suppose your legacy will be?
Oh, my goodness. There were times long ago I spent nearly 50 to 100 years, I believe, toiling in the mines, deep in the Mine Spin Mountains. And wouldn't it be awful if that's all someone was known for? That's why I'm terribly sad when I think about creatures who have been enslaved, mindless, wandering. Oh, it's awful. If that's all they were ever known for. But I realized in my travels that as much as I have had disdain for people of all sorts, that I believe creatures, even if they are evil, can fundamentally be made good. And so I would like to be known, I believe, for working to make that happen.
It's very glass half full.
And how about you? What is your legacy?
I don't know. I think it would be one to be proud of. Though I don't feel that way right now. I feel tired, to be honest.
Yes, I understand tired.
Is Val part of your legacy?
Oh, Val is a very tough case, isn't she?
She is.
She had a horrible childhood, I will tell you that. And she stole things, actually, directly from me. But, interesting enough, she actually brought them back. And I think that says something. There is something there, deep in that troubled psyche.
Somewhere in there.
Yes.
What?
Mumbles in his sleep somewhere.
She's like, I'm still awake.
Oh, embarrassing.
Yes, I think that there are layers to Val that I'm not aware of. She reminds me of hand-me-down jewelry or something like that. Something beautiful, but stuck in a box.
That's a great analogy.
Deep.
It was deep.
I hope that our legacy means something at the end of the day.
Return the shine to her once more.
Hey. I was like, where's the patch?
Let's see, pick out some fun one. Patches!
Ooh.
It's trying not to throw them in
nice.
the table pancakes that were sitting down there. Gotta have some table cakes.
There are literally pancakes on the table right now.
You got some table cakes. You finish the watch, 16 or so hours. You rest, you chat, you get up.
Val would say, once everybody is awake, I have something I think I figured out about this whole situation that I feel like I should tell you all, which is the god. Drosharis is an asshole.
To be clear, Jason made a grimacing face and looked left and right back and forth.
Like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah,
shit,
but that's
he's about to
okay.
tell me
Watson
his
goes,
best
there's something I'd like to say. No.
No, she says, the god that I grew up worshiping makes it a point to take issue with those who would themselves aspire to be gods, and wrongfully so. Which is why I feel like drawn to figuring out what this worm is all about. And I believe now that it is, in fact, a god itself.
Oh dear. That would be awful.
Would make
Truly
sense.
awful.
I've never killed a god before, so we'll see how that goes.
It's a good legacy to leave behind.
I'm not sure exactly how well that's going to go over with, everyone else in charge, but I think it's something that we have to do.
I did once kill a god, but it smelled terrible.
It was just some guy named Agat.
Yeah,
A-G-O-D.
exactly. How did you? That's exactly what
I know
said.
that. I know him.
Knew him.
General a god.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what we were talking
No.
about.
Man.
I just got lost in the
In the-
backstory of General Agad, who
General
Watson
Agad.
somehow murdered.
Do we have the capability to kill a god?
Oh.
Not General a god. He was taken care of.
General Agat?
Well, I don't know whether we do or not, but I know that someone, a power higher than myself or any of us here, has been on my side with it so far.
When you discuss your god, do you mean...
I mean the bad one.
What does Pharasma have to say about all of this?
Well, judging by the one time we talked, she said they've seen eye to eye.
It seems the fates are aligning for us to be successful.
Then let's go kick this god's ass.
Fucking A.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun it.
So all of you kind of know that there's sort of two entry chambers. There's two ways down to the basements, the crypts of this monastery. You went through the one side first. You fought the banshees. You followed a tunnel into the weird endless pit guillotine room with Kenza Navarro. You kind of backtracked. You went down the other path that started. And so I kind of want you to imagine, if you will, this basement almost like the bottomless pit room is a big X in the center of the room.
Okay.
And if you think about the X and you were to just like automatically make the top of it north, the top left or the northwest corner of the X looped into the room where you fought the banshees. The southwest or the bottom left corner of the X, like in that intersection, that junction, comes down to this section of rooms that you are in now. So essentially, these rooms connect to each other, and then they move together into the giant guillotine magic darkness pit room. And from there, there's two exits, one to the northeast and one to the north-south. Sorry, one to the northeast and one to the southeast. And Watson, your detect magics did pick up some weird fucking shit in the southeast. And the northeast, it's not that there isn't anything there. Your range on that spell is pretty limited, so you didn't detect any additional magic to the northeast. So you have to go further into this crypt. You have to go back into the magical darkness endless pit guillotine room.
Didn't we successfully fully disable everything in there though? And we know that if
no.
we walk, didn't we figure out if we walk around the edge though, it's not a problem?
That's correct.
Yeah.
But the darkness, we think, may have returned.
Yeah.
Oh, right, because you only had 24 hours on that or something.
You disarmed, essentially what Watson figured out is that he disarmed a part of the trap, but not, he addressed a symptom, not a cause, essentially.
But
Right.
I can see in there just fine. So if we want to all grab a tail, in a line, we can sort of get around.
You have a tail?
Oh, have you not seen?
I've got a tail.
No, I don't have a tail. He does have
Am
a
I the
tail.
only one that doesn't have a tail?
I don't have a fucking tail.
I don't know what you do.
I could spin it.
She's mad at Josharis.
I was honest with you. I don't see why I'm getting such. I was just going to kill you. I don't see what the big deal is.
Whoa, what?
What?
Anyway,
This
No,
is a
that's
joke.
not really in any
It's a
way.
joke. Just joking.
Oh,
around.
okay.
it's just a joke. Don't worry about it.
So-
It's just a thing we do. It's like a bit.
Plus 26 deception.
Plus 30 deception. I'm so much better of a liar than you.
I think there's like some very high level. I believe it was divination magic, or what was
No,
that?
the divination
that
magic
was
was
this
in here.
room.
It was most
that was
likely
the
the book,
journal,
actually.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
I thought the same thing.
What school of magic was that in the southeast?
I don't think it has a type.
Yeah, I think you said untyped.
Oh, that's
Mm.
Old school
Very strange.
magic.
Very.
I'll
old.
double check. I actually do have something for you, but
Well, shall we get to it then?
I suppose so.
To the southeast.
Lead the way.
Also, I cannot imagine how terrifying it would be for Val, though she is a hardened badass, to be, because she doesn't have like any kind of like dark vision or anything, to be walking in this like greater darkness along an edge of a room that she knows is a bottomless pit with someone who just admitted they wanted to kill her.
Yeah, that's fair.
and so I'll say, so you all go back through that room, and sure enough, it's dark again. And Watson, you can see, and you see that everything is prepped. Now, you did disable a couple of the blades. You disabled one set of blades, but there's still multiple more.
Well, I think Val would say like, if we keep to the outside, it shouldn't be a problem.
Oof.
And
One quick second. I do have schools for you on that other spell, Trent. Abjuration and conjuration.
Oh,
Oh, that sounds ritual.
that sounds
Mm-hmm.
not good.
and this was magical darkness, right? No.
Greater, deeper magical
Yeah. So
darkness.
the sword's not going to help,
No.
Nope.
You can feel it. in
even
your
if
hand.
it's magic too.
It's not a higher
Okay.
level than this darkness.
That's what that makes sense too.
So, do you, Watson, sort of lead the group?
Yeah. I think our understanding, I believe, was that we could sort of walk around the outside, the doors wouldn't switch. We were anticipating.
You did figure out that the triggers were if something disturbs one of the platforms or falls into the pit.
Right.
So, yeah.
No one kick anything in. I'll look out for rocks, that sort of thing.
So, you all work. You're going to the door in the southeast.
Correct.
All right. So you push through, and yeah, I mentioned it's fucking terrifying. Magical darkness, blades here set to kill anyone.
I understand you're afraid, but trust me, I can see perfectly well in here.
You find the door, open the hallway, and as soon as you do, you can see light down the hallway to the southeast. And it's the same flickering, weird light. And just like the hallway here, you open the door, there's a hallway about 15, 20 feet down, and then another door.
Hello. Oh, no one in here.
Did it work?
No one in here.
Oh fuck.
So you walk down that
Not that
way.
I can see, at least.
Or do you stop? Do you go down the hallway?
I mean, as per usual,
Mm-hmm.
We would then change the marching order.
it's, yeah, once we get into the hallway, and then like detect magic as
Sure.
we advance through it, at the doorway especially.
Okay. All right. And then you get to the door.
I mean, you tell me.
You're at the door.
Detect magic, 30 feet in.
30 feet in, you're picking up the conjuration and abjuration. At 30 feet, you're picking up a little bit of something. You're picking up like a radiation of something else, but it's unlike anything you've ever picked up before.
Oh.
I get the highest level
Yeah.
and like 5 foot of space.
So I think it's
I
right
know
at the
like how far away from me it is.
right at the edge of your 30 feet. I think this is going to be so all the way in sort of in the, if you were to guess, sort of the center of the room.
Just show me and I'll help you figure it out.
Yeah, Jason, it's here. It's just help me out. It's
Let me see
page
that book.
43 of the PDF.
Oh yeah, I've got that memorized.
I've got it up
so-
here right
Yeah.
now.
So if you're going east down this hallway, the doors to your east, go 30 feet. Edge of your range from the edge of that door is a space. Divination magic. I think it's level 24.
Not divination. Or
No,
it
this is a new aura.
24.
Level how much?
24.
That's
Whoa.
a thing.
Okay,
I
everybody.
didn't know that was a thing.
Is that like third party? This is a
you
third party
lying right
bad
I
now?
guy.
mean, I believe you. I just didn't know that was a thing.
Some kobold press shit.
Cobalt
Yeah.
press worm.
So, yeah.
Okay. About give or take 30 feet into this room. There is some serious shit in here.
Is there,
Divination magic.
is there a door? Like door, like physical door?
Yep, there's a door between you and this room.
There is some sort of something that is emanating some incredibly high-level magic. And I know I've said that before, but holy fucking shit.
I'd like to try to check the door for traps and listen for noises.
We got your perception bonus.
Yeah, I'm going to percept as well.
Right here. Cool. It's really thick doors. You don't hear anything through it. Yeah. Well, that's not fair. Let me double check that.
I agree with that. It's not fair.
Indeed, not fair.
Yeah, what the hell? No, I think you're good. You don't hear anything through that door. Thick fucking door.
Watson kicks it open.
Yeah, he turns around and he's like, well, one last hi, I'm Watson.
You know what?
Fuck it. And he kicks it.
Trail pulls his sword out and he's standing behind him as he kicks the door open.
Hello. You see this surprisingly lofty room has several grooves carved into the stone floor that form wide spirals forwarding towards the center that gives you this extremely visually disorienting feeling of falling just to look into the room at all. In the room's center, there is a shallow depression, sprouting out of which is a pillar of purple stone, 5 feet across and 10 feet high. And what
like
you
how you
see,
did that.
God,
You see God?
no,
I see God.
We were wrong. We were so wrong.
you see a creature, some sort of shape, looming over the pillar, and it shifts its whole body to look back at you.
Hello.
Tune in next week to find
Oh
out more.
no.
Oh my God.
Boy. The Live to Die podcast is a production of Live to Die Gaming. Follow us on social media at Live to Die Pod. Leave a review and tune in next week for more. If you like the amazing background audio and music, all that credit goes to Syrinscape. Make sure you check them out at Syrinscape.com.